Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Manners Matter. My name is Jacqueline Hendricks, the creator of the class for my Girl Scout Gold Award, and today we are going to be doing the second day of information, the emailing, phone, and texting skills lesson. So we're going to go through all of the discussions and activities involved, and then you can reference the appendix to get all the worksheets. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to do is this discussion. And you want to talk to your class about how cell phones have kind of invaded classrooms and houses, everywhere you go pretty much. And so you want to ask them, how many of you have a cell phone, or how many of you get text messages or have an email account. And then, depending on the answers, you could also say, does anything bother you when you see people using their phones? So this can kind of get some feedback about what the kids already know about phones and how they've kind of become a major distraction in the world today. Now you're going to show them this picture, and it says, cell phones bring you closer to people far from you. It should say people. But it takes you away from the ones sitting next to you. So you can see that this family is at dinner and they're all on their phones instead of communicating with one another. And this is a common scenario in a lot of households today that needs to be fixed. So you can ask how many of you have seen or been in this situation before. Some people have a hard time speaking to people on the phone using complete sentences, not just one-word answers. What I did to portray this is I brought in walkie-talkies because I didn't have two phones to use. And we just went through and had them do a phone call. Now, before we did that, I went through this situation and talked about some phone etiquette, and then I had them go up and practice. It's just a simple dialogue. Do you think it's good or bad, is what I asked them, and some of them said good because it kind of sounds normal, because this is what a lot of phone calls nowadays sound like. But actually, it's a bad phone call because you use one-word answers, you don't say your name. All of these things you're going to get to in the next couple of seconds in the video. Now it's time to discuss after you do this activity. Go over these 6 major rules and then a few others. So the first is identify yourself. You need to make sure that they know to say their first and last name on the phone. This way, people know who is calling. Tell why you're calling. A lot of people don't do this, and it leads to some confusion. So after you introduce yourself, your next words should be polite requests specifying why you're calling, such as, please speak to Megan or whoever. Use your manners, and this, again, is kind of a universal thing. It's important because the person on the other end of the phone can't see who you are. So having good oral manners is really important. Speak clearly and slowly. You don't want to tell like this on the phone because nobody can understand what you're saying because they can't watch your mouth move. So you need to speak clearly and slowly so they understand what you're saying. Give adequate information. In the conversation above, the phone number was missing. She just said, can she call you back? And all you said was, okay. You didn't say what number to call you back on. So it's good to give your number or any other way of contacting you. And also respect family differences. This is a big one. Say you want to go with your friend to the mall at 8 o'clock at night, but the family rules are nobody leaves the house at 7. Well, you need to respect that and not be like, well, why can't she come? It's really important. Because the rule is nobody can get out at 7. Here are some other points to consider. You can kind of read them yourself. Pause the video if you need to. I had them go up and kind of do some practice dialogue, and then had the other students who didn't present kind of reflect and say what they did right or wrong. Next is another discussion about social media. Here's some questions. Is it okay to post a friend's picture online? Now, I know a lot of people my age don't do this. They take a picture with somebody and then they post it without asking who's in the picture first. So it's always important to ask before you post things online. Is it okay to tag somebody at a location? Some people's parents might not want others to be able to know where they are. So always, just like the one above, about a picture, Ask before you tag anybody. Phone at the dinner table. Big no, unless people say it's okay. We don't want to look like this family, okay? That's a bad example. Is it okay to use your phone on a date? No, it's not okay to use your phone on a date. You want to be with the person you're on the date with. And then ask your class, what scenarios can you think of that should be tech-free? So some examples are churches, weddings, funerals, etc. Emailing. Now, some people don't use email as much when they're young, but when you get into high school, it kind of becomes important. So again, manners, being polite, not demanding anything, using complete sentences, having good spelling. Spell check is not foolproof. It won't know all your words, so you need to make sure that you reread it and make sure that it's all right. Answer in a timely manner. Don't wait 2 weeks and then email them back because they might forget who you are. And then show them this picture. Put your phone away and pay attention to those talking to you. There's an app for that. It's called Respect. And you can kind of have them analyze. Now it's time for some activities. And to make sure you keep them entertained, I kind of did activities in between the discussions, so it wasn't me just talking for a long period of time. The Tea Party invites, page 5 and 6 in the appendix. So this is where they write the information on, and this is what they're writing. So just fill in these parts and then have them write on that sheet of paper. And then the week-long activity is the My Good Manners chart. That's page 7 in the appendix. It's this one. Cut it in half, give it to them, have them check all these boxes, have their parents sign on the line. Okay, if you still have time, you can have them do the crisscross or the word search on page 9. So page 8 and page 9. Pretty simple. Everybody knows how a crisscross works. You look at the number and use one of these words to fill it in. There's no clues, so you just have to kind of play around with the words and see which ones fit. This is fun. This is a good activity. Have them just find the words in the chart. I don't know what that's called. In the grouping of words. Those are all of the activities that we had. So the main points of this lesson is talking about how to speak on the phone, appropriate emailing, using complete sentences, good grammar, all that stuff, and texting. Also the social media aspect, asking your friends before you post or tag them in a pictures, things like that. That was the emailing, phone, and texting lesson. I will see you guys in the videos to come.